boop.
I was making fun of my son, telling him, "Hey, we can get you a job at the cookie making place right in front of us that we're watching."
That's right.
It's like, yeah, I could. And I'm like, yes, you have to deal with all those angry customers in there because cookies are taking too long to make.
That's right.
All the
5
angry
minutes.
high customers. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just people I don't understand.
Curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you guys when you got your first job?
I was 13, 14.
I was the youngest you could be was like 15, I think it was. So it was like as soon
I
as
had to have a parent slip and all that stuff filled out, and my grades had to be checked to make sure that I was doing good in school and all
Ditto,
that.
Yeah. I got my first job like as soon as I turned 15 at a Tops supermarket in northeastern Ohio. And
Nice.
that was actually an okay job. I don't mind working jobs like that because you eventually get people. The worst you would get is like it was always two people. One, people that came from Sunday morning mass straight to the supermarket. Their kids are exhausted.
Yep.
They're pissed. They're tired. They were terrible. The other ones were always the like overly concerned people. It was men and women. So like people always want to stereotype this as women, but it's always like, oh, wait, don't put the pineapple on top of the bread. It's like, yeah, fucking, I know. I have been on this earth long enough to know that hard things squish soft bread. Like I'm not gonna be like, here you go.
You say that.
Put a watermelon on
I
it.
haven't had that exact opposite experience twice over the past 2 months.
Well,
where
because
For
people
sure.
don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People don't care.
I started out as a busboy at a restaurant and then got promoted to dishwasher.
Hey, nice.
But my God, do I absolutely hate fucking old people because they would be the ones that would show up for their senior coffee in the morning or their senior coffee at 10:59 when we closed at 11.
Exactly.
And then sat there until 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yep.
And the wait staff got to go home. The busboy, the dishwasher, and the cook had to sit there and wait until everybody left, and our fucking managers would never kick anybody out and would never fucking deny people.
Well, they're our customers. How can we kick them out?
Oh my God.
So annoying.
We did a lot of stuff in the freezer that involved drugs.
Yep. Hey man, it's a kitchen. That's what you do.
My first official job, where I had to give like my national insurance number and everything. That's the social security number for the Americans in the audience. It was 15, and that was McDonald's.
Nice.
My youngest job, I was 12, and I was a glass collector at a local pub.
Okay.
And that was a boomer pub, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You want old ladies pinching your cheeks when you're 12 years old and on the chubby side? Oh boy, did I have to go through a lot. And I hate, I don't even know the name of the song, but I despise the When the Moon Hits Your Eye song with a passion.
Amore.
Yeah, that song.
Yep.
I despise that because that was it's the end of the night. We're not serving anymore. This is the last song, and then everybody can GTFO.
Right.
And let me tell you, at 1 in the morning when that song comes on, and you've got like 70 to 80 old people singing it, it's just like,
kill me now,
get
please.
the fuck out. I want to go home.
Man, I think my hardest job, though, I worked a couple summers at a metal stamping factory in Ohio. That was a pretty rough job. A lot of
doing hot stamping.
Yeah, we did both. It was a lot of like grinding burrs. It was a lot of hot stamping. It was a lot of cold stamping. That was a tough job, but it paid at the time because I bought steel toe boots. I paid $8 an hour, which was a lot of money then, so I could save up for like books and stuff.
I don't think I made $8 an hour until I started working at a glass manufacturing place for the auto industry called Gentex in Zeeland, Michigan. And I was working third shift and started out at $8.25.
Yeah. That's the reason why I took that job. It's just like, this job is going to suck. Especially being in a metal stamping factory in the dead of an Ohio summer. But they were like, yeah, if you buy steel-toe boots, you can get $8 an hour. I'm like, $8 an hour? I'm going to own the whole town.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
The funny thing is, I worked at a metal stamping place too, just before I started getting into IT. It was a quality inspector, and I used to work at the cold stamping, hot stamping, robotic welding, robotic lasering,
Yeah.
and this, that, and the other thing. And I was not making much more than base pay.
Yep, hot 850. There you go.
Yeah.
The hardest job I ever had was working on off-track betting, which is huge in England.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a giant fucking thing. But I worked in the center of the city, so scammers, robberies,
Yeah.
everything. Like,
Yeah.
it was unreal, and the amount of money that flowed through the store was crazy. It also doesn't help that we have in Liverpool one of the great horse races, quote unquote great. I think it's like the big 5 horse races. Kentucky Derby is one of them. The Grand National is one of them. That's the one that takes place in Liverpool. I think on that day, we took 6.3 million in our store alone.
Jesus Christ.
And not kidding, the group leader for the area was in the basement counting the money to take to the bank so they could do the deposits, because we legally were not allowed to have that much money on site.
Right.
Like, and it was literally, they were doing rounds throughout all of the stores in
Stuffing
the city.
in a
Like,
duffel bag and be like, get it out of here.
exactly, pretty much. It was like,
Wow,
okay,
that's
now we need to go
wild.
to the bank and do this deposit. Now we need to go to this next store and do it. And by the time they'd done like the loop of the 5 stores,
Right.
it was back to the first one again and do it all over again.
That's wild.
Because let me tell you, when money's on and people are slow, that's the con man trying to do a slow count on you. When money's on the line and you have to be careful, people will lose their shit if you are not in time and they don't get the win that they wanted. Like,
Yeah.
they're not happy with that in the slightest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man. All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
Sure.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Join me as always is Moonpier
Hi, less food this week.
and the Nimp.
Hello.
Quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
$5 tier is the recommended tier. That gets you everything. Early access, exclusive, uncensored stuff. All the hottest audio. Had a really good Outcast this week. Really wanted to specifically call that one out. That one's really good. So check out all that at patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
Quick plug here for a bunch of stuff that's happened over the last couple weeks while we've been off. Last week we had a mailbag episode. If you wanted to hear us talk about a lot of Foodcast stuff, please go listen to that. That turned out to be a really great. I think we alternated between non-Foodcast and Foodcast questions. So if you wanted to, the last stuff we talk about with Foodcast is kind of an all-timer there on that episode. So please go check that one out. That one's a lot of fun. We also, Moon and I did one last plug here for our interview with Xalavier Nelson Jr. of Strange Scaffold, I Am Your Beast, Click Holding, what is it, an airport for dogs currently run by aliens.
Yes, an airport for aliens currently run by dogs.
Thank you. I always get that backwards. And about like 17 other games that have come out in the time that I started the sentence. All of that stuff. We talk about. We had a really great, again, thank you to Xalavier for taking time out of his very busy schedule to come talk to us. We had an incredible conversation about how Strange Scaffold really does focus on sustainable development, what that really means, how you ensure the health of your employees, what AAA development and kind of AA development really is. We do a deep dive on Click Holding, since we played that this year on our Game Club episode, and we talk about his favorite B games, and we talk about some other really fun stuff along the way too. So please go listen to that. I think it turned out really, really great, and he was a great guest, and I'm super appreciative of him taking the time and talking about some cool stuff with us.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah,
I listened to that recently. So
yeah, it was cool. I looked back, and I had the date wrong. I thought it was 10 years since I interviewed the last person. Last person timestamp for that interview was 2009. So it's been a
Was the hurricane one, Katamari hurricane?
yeah, a tornado outbreak. His name was Andrew Yoder. He was very cool. That was also a very cool, very casual interview. I did that in, I think it was Brad's bedroom. I think we were sitting around with a microphone and talking to that dude. So a very
highly professional.
yeah, a very different interview this time, where we were talking to a PR person, but also a very relaxed interview as well. So please go check that out. That was really great. All right, Moon, what have you been playing these past 2 weeks?
I mean, cut this out if you want to, Boston, but hey, if you are struggling with anything at this moment in time, do me a favor, reach out. DM me, Discord. There are resources available. Talk to somebody.
Yeah,
If this time is particularly hard for anybody, don't hesitate. Especially if you're a listener to this show, we probably have shared spirits.
yeah. So I'm glad
Reach
you
out.
brought that up, because I had wanted to talk about this and I totally forgot talk about it because we were talking about Zalvir in the interview. So we haven't talked about the kind of rules for the show here for a little bit, and there's 3 kind of primary ones. The third one is the important one. Number 1, it's a clean show. You've probably figured that out if you've listened to any amount of this show. The other one is
where we swear like sailors.
I was gonna say,
That's
like
right.
everywhere else, you have to pay for the filth.
Exactly. Patreon.com/evilm1.
Ones are
Ones are
numbers.
numbers.
So the second one is we need to have thoughtful criticism on what we're doing. If you like stuff, great. If you don't like stuff, great. You can't just say this game sucks and move on. That is of no use to anybody. The other one is the shorthand for it is no isms or phobias. So no racism, no sexism, no transphobia, no homophobia, anything like that. That has no place on the show. That has no place on any of these shows. There are games where we do address that, because those are themes of the games. Like the Life is Strange games. We will talk about those being topics of the games, but it is unacceptable for any of us to come and use our platform to extend or promote any level of hate. And part of what I wanted to talk about too is, like Moon said, it's a hard time for anybody. And if you aren't a straight white podcaster with a beard, it is probably going to be a lot harder for you, and a lot more openly hostile, and a lot more, hopefully not, but potentially openly violent towards you. And I wanted to impress upon the thing that Moon just said, that there are resources to get whatever assistance, or if you want someone to talk to, or if you need pointed at some resources or whatever. I never know which are the good ones or which are the ones that are trying to convert you or steal your money or something else that is as terrible. So I don't want to promote one resource over another. Please try and find within a community what the resources are. And I especially want to impress upon you as the listener that I and we want you here. So the natural, I think, despair is overwhelming, and it has been an incredibly difficult week. It will probably be a pretty challenging future amount of time. I don't even want to say how long it will be, because things might get better. I don't want to be pessimistic about it. But I and we, at the very least, the 3 of us, want you, the person that's listening to this, to be here. And I cannot, if hopefully you have other people in your life that value you the way that you want to be valued and should be valued. But if not, the 3 of us want you to be here. So please, I would like for you to stay here. And if you are feeling an extreme amount of feelings, like most of us are, please, again, I will continue to say this until the end of time. Please go talk to somebody. Please get assistance. Again, we talked about this in Critical Misses this year. There's nothing wrong with getting help. There's nothing wrong. It does not make you less of a person. It does not make you weak. It does not make you whatever negative thing that these Nazis that are on YouTube trying to get your money and trying to get you mad, they're not telling you the truth. That getting help and seeking help and talking to people makes you strong, and it will hopefully improve you and improve your mood and improve everything, and most importantly, have you be here. So please, again, we will talk about this until we are blue in the face, until this podcast is way past done. But please go get whatever assistance you feel like you need. It's vitally important.
Yeah.
So especially in troubling times.
Boston in Discord for 6 places that you can call or reach out to. Seems pretty good, so I don't know if you want to insert that into the show notes or anything.
I'll go see if I can put it in the show notes. So
yeah, and especially if you're on Blue Sky, there's a lot of people doing a lot of circulation of helplines, crisis centers, that kind of stuff on Blue Sky. So always worth a checkup on there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I didn't mean to take us hardcore, deadly serious at the start, but I feel like it's kind of needed right now, considering the week I've had, let alone other people out there.
There are trying times right now, and I think in trying times, you really want to reinforce that community is important. Community can just be one other person, and that is okay. Or
the only reason you two didn't get your phones blown up this week is because I ended up in a text conversation with Mackie from like literally Tuesday morning onwards, essentially.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I guess this is the conversation I'm having this week.
Yeah. And also a reminder here too that we have the best community on the internet, discord.tvgp.tv. If you want to chat with a bunch of people from the community, share resources, share, commiserate, share. There's a lot of music memes in the Discord this week, so there's a lot of people there that you can talk to, even if it's not about serious stuff, even if we're just talking about the gross decades food that Taco Bell is bringing back for some reason. Want to talk about 60s Taco Bell food? Yeah, we can talk about that too. So
and like I'm not overly active on the general side of things. Don't be afraid to just at me. Literally, I will find time between 2 jobs and everything else to respond eventually, usually within a day or 2. But don't be afraid to just at me if you just want to have a glib chat about fish fingers and sausage rolls. I don't have a problem with that.
Exactly. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for reminding us to talk about that. So, yes.
No, you're all good.
Go talk to someone.
Something. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
As for video games.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do a lot of rapid fire here because it has been 2 weeks, so there's a whole bunch that you don't need to worry about videos for, Boston.
Yeah, but what if they're really good?
They're not, dude. They're not.
Okay.
Stand Pinball. I continue to bash my head against the high roller casino table. It is very difficult, and I refuse to move on until I've done that. Katamari Rerolled. I finished the game, kind of. I still have to do the whole second levels and third levels for a whole bunch of people.
Oh, right.
And, all of the cousins together, which is just... Yep, I'm not interested in that at all. Hidden Cats in New York. If you heard that through my microphone, that is my doorbell. Please ignore it. Hidden Cats in New York. You can pull a video of this one at Boston because it's the other version of the Hidden Cats in London that I previously did.
I also saw that someone is putting out a capybara one as well, which sounds pretty good.
I love capybaras.
They're the best.
But yes, it's the exact same game as Hidden Cats in London, except it's in New York. So I have completed the baseline one. I found 100 cats. Now I need to do the second one where they're in random locations. This one feels harder because there's a lot more cats in cars and stuff, which are moving, and it's difficult to see them.
America, am I right?
But I know,
if only these cats had a walkable city.
I mean, the worst part is it's New York City, so you'd think it would be the walkable city, but no, they got to be in the taxi cab.
Hey, they got rid of jaywalking as a law recently, and let me tell you, the 2 weeks I was in New York, I didn't even know that was a law. I jaywalked everywhere. Apparently,
no one else did either.
Hey, when I went to New York, all I did was jaywalk. That was my go-to maneuver.
There's an opening.
Parked.
Yeah.
Like, dude, double parking is ridiculous.
It's hilarious. It's not even just double parking; it's triple parking too, because they'll be on the sidewalk, the parking space, and then in the middle of the road.
I love New York so much.
I do too. I do. New York for me is like Vegas. It's like I can go there for a few days and have a really banging time, but there's too many people. Right. So I just want to kind of be away from that quantity of people.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoy driving in New York City and utilizing my horn every couple of seconds.
That's right.
And just forcing my way somewhere.
Hey, I'm honking here.
That's right.
That's what the city's designed for, apparently. Why else would they put like the buildings right next to each other where the sound reverberates well?
If I can't drive up on the sidewalk, why is my vehicle able to get up on the sidewalk?
That's right.
Exactly. But yeah, Hidden Cats in New York, it's one of my go-tos for, I just don't feel like anything, so let's just play this.
Yeah.
Did they have moving sections like that in the London one too?
They did, yes.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, man, that's got to be crazy having that much stuff moving around.
And the best part is they're all hidden in front of and behind buildings, so you've got to find like the one opening and then just stare at the opening while it does the whole carousel through the opening.
Wow.
And then the same going the other direction, and it's just like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing now. Let's see. I reopened the Genesis collection. I only got 2 games in this time. I think I got 3, but I didn't write the third one down, so we're only going to talk about 3. What is Sword of Vermilion, and why do I not care about that game?
Man, I have never known.
Sound familiar to me.
I've never known how to feel about Sword of Vermilion. I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't like it, like in the slightest. Like it's just. Go ahead.
It's not made for you.
100% it's not made for me.
I really like games like this, these kind of first-person dungeon crawling, and like this one's great because it has a map on the screen, which almost none of these games do. But it's just so. It's such a Genesis game. Like it
feels like I've played 7 versions of this game in this collection. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And it's just I have never clicked with this game, which is fine, but it's just all. If I'm gonna play a game like this, I'll play like Legend of Grimrock, which is kind of like a modern one of these. I want the quality of life. I want the kind of updated ones. This is the best we had back then, which is great, but it's hard to go back to a lot of these games.
Yeah, it's not great. I remember the third game. It was Shinobi, but I don't know which one, and I don't like that either.
I don't remember which one's in that collection.
It's whatever. It's Shinobi. It's fine. Come back to me when you get, a third-person character action adventure game like Ninja Gaiden, please and thank you.
That's right.
The final one of the 3 was Super Thunderhawk, which I distinctly remember adoring when I was a child.
Yeah.
And do you know what I realized this time?
It's not very good.
It's Space Harrier, but with a helicopter.
That's why you liked it so much.
There you go.
No, because I hate Space Harrier.
Well, crap.
I don't know why I like the helicopter version when I was young. Now I hate it. Now it's just congratulations. It's Space Harrier but with a helicopter, and there is considerably more tall buildings to crash into. Like that's the be all and end all of Super Thunderhawk. It's like okay, whatever, I guess. It is fine. Let's see. We did play a little bit of Space Marine 2. I unfortunately did not get to play it yesterday like I wanted to because I fell asleep because I'm exhausted. But we started doing the operations mode. Me, Nimp, and Rob started doing that. They really give the fun missions to the B team, right? I'm not.
Yeah. It
Like-
felt like we were actually doing mission critical stuff as opposed to us playing the main game and be like, well, that seemed not necessary.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, okay, we got in and we pressed this button, but to press the button, you needed 2 other teams to do very important things in advance.
Yeah.
And turns out playing as the 2 other teams doing the very important things is actually a good thing. Really fun and incredibly difficult, it turns out, too, because it's got the leveling structure, it's got the upgrades, it's got the experience points. It's got all of that stuff like mingled in with everything else, and it's just like, oh no, this is a lot.
This is going to be a problem.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out how to upgrade the guns. I got lost in the menu trying to figure that out because you guys were like, "Oh yeah, you just do this, 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 and this." And
yeah,
I'm like,
because
"Wait,
it's like
what?"
9. There's 9 classes, and each of the classes has guns that they can use, and each of the guns can be upgraded, and each of the melee weapons can be upgraded,
Oh, wow.
and you have skill trees for each of the classes too. It's just, hey, Boston.
Uh-huh.
I heard you like bars being filled.
I really do.
It's great for
I
that.
have got a game for you.
Yeah.
Bars on bars.
Like, I haven't seen bars this level since Battlefield. Like, it's ridiculous how many bars there are in this game.
Yeah, because then we were figuring out it's like you have to upgrade your gun to access a skill tree, but you can see the whole skill tree, but you can't access it unless you upgrade it a specific way to get to that certain path. And it's as confusing as it sounds at first until you stare at it and you're like, oh, wait, okay, I see what's happening.
And like you start with like just the basic version of the guns, and then like the more experience points you get in, they get like decorations put on them. So like all of a sudden you've got like a gold handgun with a wax stamp and a ribbon on it, because why not? It's Warhammer, I guess.
Yeah, it's got the scripture right on there for better reloading.
To increase the power, yes.
Yeah.
Put a bunch of magic writing on this and make it stronger.
The holy script of heat burnout plus 10%.
It's fun. It's still fun to play. We haven't increased the difficulty yet, but we are now like level 3 or 4. So within a couple of missions, it's going to be time to bump her up to the next difficulty and see how it goes.
I don't know. There was a couple times we got hit by waves, and I'm like, I'm out of ammo.
Like, we got completely wiped. And I checked. The highest difficulty, each team member has a limited amount of pulls from those big ammo boxes. Like, what?
Oh, really?
Yes, like you have a limited number of pulls from those boxes on the highest difficulty. And it's just like, guys, why? Why are you going to make it so difficult?
Yeah.
But whatever. We'll get there if and when we get there. It was fun. Like, I'm looking forward to like going further in the operations and seeing the later missions. Like, I want to take over that ship and point it at that building. Like, I can't wait till we do that one. That one should be fun.
Yeah,
wish I was kidding when I said that, Boston.
No, to me, Warhammer is always the thing of like anything is possible. So you can say some really wild stuff, and I'm like, yep, I don't doubt that that will happen. I believe you.
That's pretty much where we're at with this one, to be honest.
And
also,
every game session, we are back to the point of which one's grenade? Oh, found it.
That's right.
Yep, every time. I also didn't know this. This is not the same devs who made the first Space Marine. It's a completely different team.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And mechanically, it is about the same. Like, it plays the same, it feels the same, it looks the same as the first one. And it's just like, okay, good job. Like, you made a sequel to a game that you have no investment in, and somehow tied it into the first story, and controls and mechanics wise kept it the same too. So good job for them. Anything else on Space Marine before I move on, then?
No, we've just been messing with our gilded lilies, and that's about it. Fully customizing the armor in dumb, ridiculous ways. I have gold on a lot of things now.
Nice.
Yeah, I always had gold. That was like the first thing I bought, was like, I'm gonna get the gold paint so I can do like the skull in gold on my arm. Yeah, it's fun and stupid and great. Let's see what else I've got here. Lethal Company. Played Lethal Company on Friday. So you may now refer to me as the slot machine king.
Oh,
did you guys go hard in the casino again?
we 100% went hard in the casino. It was
Nice.
really. I was infected by whatever brainworms Rob has, because for whatever reason, this time while we were playing, the second we got to the store with our $1,400 dollars for a 300 quota,
Mhm.
me and Rob just jumped off the ship yelling "Gamba, Gamba, Gamba," straight into the casino. Happy birthday, by the way, Rob. I believe this comes out on your birthday.
Oh, happy
Have
birthday.
a good one. Old man, officially.
That's right.
Good luck. But we played a bunch of rounds. It turns out having friendly teleporters on 1000% breaks the game.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because you can see somebody in trouble and just yank them to the ship.
Not only that, but we also had enough money. We experimented by buying the inverse teleporter as well. So we got to rend pretty easily, if I'm honest. And then I would inverse teleport myself into rend, collect a bunch of stuff, and then be like, okay, whoever's back at the ship first, I need to teleport out. And then they'd bring me out with a full inventory of stuff. And then as soon as I drop it all off of the ship, I just jump on the inverse teleporter again and hit the button again and just be straight back in there to collect even more stuff.
Does it teleport you to a random point, or?
Oh, the inverse is 100% random. It's just
it just
good
dumps
luck.
you somewhere in the
Here's a point.
building.
That could be dangerous too, depending on what mod you have running at that time.
Has been. Yeah, it can be and has been in the previous versions too. There was some chaos around an item that's in the game that's a mask with a deer skull, essentially, that acts a little bit like the mimic masks.
Oh, great. That's what we needed more of.
Yeah, well, I had no idea what they were talking about, and then somebody found it. I think Ash found it the next run, and I scanned it, and then the item description starts with SCP, so I can tell you exactly where that came from.
If somebody puts it on, does it start leaking fluid and?
No, it transforms them into a weird monster, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Except it puts itself on too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't, if you have it in your inventory, it can just put itself on you. Apparently.
Yeah, it's mimetic.
That causes problems. So I ended up finding it. Wait until someone was in the ship, picking her up, getting teleported back, dropping it off in the ship, and then not touching it until we got back to the store. But the entire time it was in the ship, the screen was phasing in and out of like hallucinations kind of vibe. And I was just like, okay, so this is probably bad. Maybe never bring this thing on the ship again. Going to, because it's expensive, so of course I'm going to. But it was fun. And then we went to the casino and I gambled a whole bunch of money. And unlike Mr. Blackjack, I played the slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike Mr. Blackjack, I win a lot. So like we were wrapping it up, and I think I went to the casino with like 150 scrap value essentially, and I walked out with 1750.
Jeez.
So I was just like, good news, guys. Next quota is fine.
That's
I guess.
Got it sorted.
We're good. Like we don't have to worry about that. Thumbs up.
Let's move on. Pretty good luck with the slot machine last time, but then what was it? The second to last mission that we did, it was just all downhill on that machine. I couldn't get anything to go.
Yep. So I don't know. It was fun. We had a blast playing that. And the only other thing I've played a lot of, other than the Game Club game, which, yeah, we'll get there in a week or two, is Control. I have the Ultimate Edition. I have the Xbox, like the upgraded version. I've had it installed, and I've chipped away at it bit by bit. I officially did the Ashtray Maze today. I officially did the final boss today. Mm-hmm. And now I'm in the best outfit in the game, one might say. In my opinion,
the director's outfit.
The suit jacket, the director's outfit.
Yep.
Where she's got the hairpin for the.
Yeah, that one's great.
The hairpin that represents the board,
foundation,
the board of directors.
Ugh.
Also, I didn't realize that the Ultimate Edition is obviously, it's got all of the DLC included in it.
Mm-hmm.
No idea what this jukebox is, but I'm pretty sure I have to play that at some point.
Oh yeah.
Also, at some point halfway through the game, Alan Wake started talking to me. I
Yeah, it's cool. It's great.
was like, okay, didn't know this was a thing. I'm going to beat the main game first, though. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, control's really good. You know what? The really funny thing is that playing through it again, I think I have one complaint with this game, and I know Boston doesn't like the Ashtray Maze because it's too quote-unquote on point.
It is.
The only thing, ironically, that this game could use is a flashlight.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because there are some areas where it's super dark and hard to see where you're going. And it's like, I find it funny that the creators of Alan Wake made an incredible game and didn't put a flashlight in there.
That's true.
And it's just like, guys, you've got this unlocked. Like, you know how to do this. Like, where is my flashlight, please?
Man, Control is great.
It is.
I love that game.
I like too that
So
they have the God mode that you can enable now too.
Yep.
Every once in a while, I was like, I should just get the platinum for that. I'm like, and it has God mode.
That's right.
So I could just do that.
Walk right through it.
Literally, I'm going for the full. I think it's still 1,000, but I can't remember. I'm getting every achievement. I've done it once. I'm going to do it again because it's a comfort food game, and I think it's incredible. And I will happily support Remedy no matter what.
Yep.
I'm still super excited about that 3-player co-op. Like, you're the scrubs of the FBC game. Like, cannot wait for that game. That's might be on permanent rotation in the future. But yeah, it's Control. I love it. That's all I've been playing. Miss Nim, take me away.
All right. I actually have not been playing a whole lot this week because I just decided that I am going to take a break because we're on break.
Well deserved.
Yeah. So, I've been playing with the community the Pokemon trading card game Pocket Edition.
Oh, you mean the Pokemon TCGP?
I saw this in Discord and I was like, no, I'm not. I can't look at this.
Now, I do have one more game to talk about after this. However, I did want to talk about this game.
Yeah, I've also been, quote unquote, playing this game as well.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing is, well, we'll get to that. But I do it. It's just the whole thing is you're collecting the game or collecting the cards.
Yep.
That's it. You don't have to engage in the battle. There is a online battle system and a solo battle system in here if you want to engage in that. I do occasionally just so that I can get my dailies done. However, I found out real quick trying to do the event one that went live this week that the event ones are where people who pay money to get cards like to hang out.
Oh, no.
Because I just get stomped on.
Oh.
And
out of curiosity, really quick, I just want to do a health check on community here. Is Bilsiford playing this game?
Oh, for sure.
Why would you let him do that?
He is soaking up all the good luck.
I've got some pretty good luck.
This is what he does
every day.
He's too much.
He posts something on here, and I'm just like, dude, like, I have one rare that I got all week.
I'm just saying. This is what he does. I experienced this with Marvel Strike Force. I'm sure Boston experienced this with Destiny. He has a habit of doing this where he will just get in a game and absorb every positive thing and leave you with nothing but the poop.
He really does have the rabbit's foot.
The good thing is that money-wise, like, you can buy some stuff, and it's all you're doing is you're waiting on a timer to refill so that way you can open up a booster pack, and that's it. And like I said, you don't have to engage in the online stuff. I've done it here and there.
I do. I'm not even through the tutorial of the battles. All I want to do is I wait 12 hours, I open up a pack, and then I go, yeah, look at these cards, and I put them in my little binder, and then I wait 12 more hours until my phone is like, hey, you can open up a pack. It's like, oh, yeah, the Pokemon trading card, yeah.
That's kind of the good and the bad thing about this game is that you can do the battle stuff. It has nothing to do with collecting the cards.
It makes me very happy.
Yes. They might as well be two completely different things.
Yeah, it's real good.
And that's kind of the crap thing about having the battle system in here, is that you can, with the cards that you've collected, you can go in and play the battle system, but the rewards aren't really anything.
Okay.
So you're not getting like extra stuff to really unlock more cards or to bring down your timer and stuff. You do get like that they call it like the fairy dust or whatever.
There's a lot of currencies in this game of like, oh, this
Yeah.
one's for this and this one's for that. I don't know.
Yeah. So even though people do put in money for this, it's basically just to so that you can buy more of the item that resets the timer, so that way you can do boosters.
Right.
You're still, as far as I know, you can only get cards from the boosters, which are random. And there is, once you've opened up a certain amount of boosters, you do get points, and you can use those points after a while to buy specific cards from a booster pack.
Yeah.
But there's no direct, I just put in $20, let me buy the Ultimate Edition Charizard card kind of thing.
The most you get is like card dust that you spend like hundreds of the dust. This is standard stuff for these games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm spending 500 dust and I'll get Chubby Pikachu. It's like, yep, sure, okay. But you can't put, like you said, you can't put your credit card in and get a card out. Like that's not how it works.
So basically I have the game open right now. When it opens up, your home screen is just, hey, here is your timer. If you can open a booster once your timer hits, it's like, here are the 3 boosters, and it's a Charizard one, a Mewtwo one, and a Pikachu one. All 3 of those boosters have certain cards that they're puking out to you. And so I've just been doing the straight Charizard one the entire time. Like we have discovered in Discord, as my son had told me earlier this week, you get a ring of booster packs that you can scroll through and pick. And what I did not know is you should be rotating those packs to look for a bent corner.
Oh my god, here we go. The bent corner, like the
Conspiracy 2024.
Yeah, so it's like it's this like schoolyard conspiracy that has no founding, but people, each of these booster packs looks like a real life one, so it looks like it's in the foil, and you kind of tear the top off. The phone vibrates when you pull the tab off the top.
Yeah, you have to draw your finger across the cut edge. You have to pull off the top.
People have thought now, and all of these games have to have this of like, oh well, if you see the top corner of when you rotate it around, the top corner has a little bent edge, that has the good cards in it, so make sure you're like have the magnifying glass on your phone and you're inspecting. There
is a noticeable one where it's like, if you do turn it, it's like you do see, okay, that is bent. And I am not against. I will say though that the couple times that I have done it, I have gotten at least a holographic card more often, it seems. I am not looking at like release percentages and all this.
You don't
crap.
have your spreadsheet up.
Yeah, exactly. I have no clue what the percentage risk of me actually opening a pack and getting this card would be, kind of thing. But it is a thing now where it's like, you know what? Screw it. I mean, I'm already sitting here waiting for bars, and I'm not doing anything when I am playing this anyway.
I'll
go through the 10 packs and rotate them and see if there's a bent one or not.
I do have to say, the one system that I do like a lot in this game that I haven't seen in any other ones is called the Wonder Pick system.
Yes.
You get 5 tokens, and they recharge. Each token recharges eventually, but when you go in that system, you see cards, like a booster pack that another real player in the world, and it, now that I have a bunch of friends, it seems to prioritize friends at the top. It will show you the 5 cards that person has pulled, and you get to spend your tokens to have it jumble those 5 up and kind of show the card backs to you, and you get to pull a copy of one of those ones that they have pulled. I think that system's really fun, because even if you're not looking for like a holographic Charizard EX or whatever, even if you're looking for like, oh, I really want like another Econs so I can get the like sparkles on the front of the card, this dude pulled one, maybe I'll try and spend 1 token to maybe take a copy of theirs. I think that system is really cool, because it's not you being able to like buy or pull a specific one, but you have another system of like, all right, yeah, this seems like a bunch of cool cards. Maybe I'll take a copy of one of these. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, and the funny thing is too, is that I have a couple of Japanese people that are playing that I have friended on, and I've been able to do that poll on. So now I have a couple of Pokemon cards that are all in Japanese.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I can
That's
play.
so cool. Like it keeps the original language of the card that you're copying from your friends.
Yep.
So you'll see a bunch of cards in a bunch of different languages. I think that's super cool.
So I've got a couple of those too, and now I've been adding more and more people of different languages so I can get the different language cards just because I think it's stupid. And they play exactly the same. If you have an English card, it's the exact same thing. Right. It's the exact same picture. It's just in a different language, and it works the exact same way.
It's
and
very cool.
I just think it's stupid, and that's why I'm doing it now.
I love it.
You got to find your own fun in it.
That's right.
So yeah, outside of that, you're just waiting for bars to fill.
Yep.
So that you can open up your booster and you can get more cards. I'm currently level 12, which means I've opened up a lot of cards, card packs.
Like level 5, maybe, I think, at most.
Yeah. I've got. Let me pull it up real quick. How many cards do I currently? Yeah, I know I can open a booster. How many cards do I currently have? I've got 373 cards right now.
Okay. I think I just crossed 150, maybe.
Okay.
I've been moving pretty slow through it because a lot of it is like we've been saying, all I want to do is collect the cards. Like, this is why I've never bought any of the real-life cards, because as soon as I buy that first booster pack, it'll be like, well, 20 booster packs is just X dollars.
My son and I have already been talking about that.
Yeah, like, so being able to for free, digitally, like, collect a bunch of Pokemon cards. I really like Pokemon. Like, my kid and I watch Pokemon every once in a while. So, like, being able to
scratch the itch without losing the wallet, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And, like, I don't have to have these binders. I don't have to have all these cool cards. I don't have to play the battle, the actual, like, fighting part of the game to get these cards. I can just collect these digital shinies like the magpie that I am.
Yeah. And I will say, too, I thought it was extremely funny that when I was flipping around boosters trying to figure out which one I wanted to open, if you open it while the booster is backwards, the card will come out backwards. And so you have to sit there and flip all the cards over so you can see what ones you actually got.
I haven't even seen that. That's great.
It's stupid, but
love it.
It's a fun, dumb game that I'm enjoying and that I don't have to put any effort into. Because like you were saying, it's like, okay, I've pulled my booster. Like I got one I got to pull now.
Yep.
I'm going to pull that, and I'm not going to think about this game until tomorrow morning when it's
12 more hours. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So...
yeah,
it's been great.
We have a channel for it in the Discord if you want to come collect along with us.
Yeah, we got IDs and stuff. You can send little thank yous whenever you do pull a random card from somebody else. You can thank them, and it'll give them a bit of dust so they can increase their timer and all that stuff if you want. So, yeah, it's all there.
That's cool.
The next game that I've been playing, which may or may not be a handoff, is Metaphor ReFantazio.
It is not a handoff because of the last game I've been playing this week.
I am already at the end of the game.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I have put
Wait, isn't this a huge Persona-like game?
I have put in 68 hours.
Goodness.
Boy, am I enjoying this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is a medieval Persona game. I have a hard time putting this game down, and I think thinking about it, I think the reason behind that is that it seems a lot more like bite size. Like you can do smaller chunks of things and feel like you've progressed faster than you have in Persona. With the social links, for example, you would have to do like all of these different things, have certain S ranks set a certain way, have certain items prepped to get them into the mood of, you know, wanting to engage in their S rank, have to hit them on certain days, do certain things with those people. With this, it's kind of, hey, you've talked about doing a thing, you can now go do that thing the next day. You just have to wait until daytime to talk to them again. You'll get to a certain point where your 5 key stats that you need like your courage, wisdom, and imagination. Oh boy, and I forget what the other one is off the top of my head, but you'll have to have those at a certain level before you can progress that link with that character, which then unlocks more of the classes that you can do and all this stuff. So I feel like you can do more in a day than you could in Persona, kind of.
Gotcha.
But not by a whole lot. Because this also introduced something new that Persona doesn't have, and that's the traveling, where it takes days, a day or more, to travel to a location. You did not have that in Persona. You were usually confined to a town.
Right.
You would travel somewhere, and I think there may be like 1 or 2 times where it's like you would travel somewhere and it would change it from like morning to afternoon kind of thing. At worst,
yeah.
Yeah, but these are like actual days of you are traveling. This is going to take you a day to get to this location.
Right.
And while you are traveling, you can do stuff, but it's a lot more confined. But you didn't have that in Persona, which I think is interesting. But it opens up a whole other thing where it's like traveling, you can do cooking.
Oh, okay. So you're doing stuff while you're moving?
Yeah.
Right.
During certain travel segments, you can fish, kind of thing. So that it adds a bunch of different stuff to it, which is
interesting.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. It just feels a lot smaller, and it's always. It started hitting me with this. Okay, well, I've done this. Let me do one more thing, and then let me do one more thing, and then let me do one more thing. And then it's like 2 in the afternoon, and I haven't done anything all day because I've been playing this game all day. So I've been getting a lot of that. I am at the point now, I'm not going to spoil anything story-wise, but I am in the last month of the game, and you have an exceptional amount of time to start wrapping things up.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm in the middle of doing. There's these dragon trials that you can do. I don't know if they're mandatory or not, but I managed to uncover one of them and went to go do it and then could not complete it because I was not ready for that kind of encounter, that kind of dungeon or that kind of encounter. Excuse me. So I kind of wasted a day on that one, which I was really annoyed with. I went back, did a bunch of grinding, found a bunch of different equipment, and then found that there's a particular order you should be doing these in. And I happened to find the hardest one first.
Of course.
and went to go do that one. And it didn't work out so well. So I figured out which one was the first one you should do, went in there and did it. It was still difficult, but I completed it. And I am currently in the area for the second one, and I have been doing so much grinding. Last week we had talked about how you don't have to change your archetype, that you'll be able to keep earning experience and building upon that even if it's already mastered out. What happens, I've discovered now, is when you've mastered an archetype, it will change. It'll make it so that you can build up 1,000 experience points in that archetype, and then it will turn that into an item. And that item, you can use that archetype experience on anyone, any archetype that you currently have studied.
That's cool. That's nice because that way you don't have to, like, in so many games with jobs, you always find that good job, and then you feel like you're wasting the like battle points or experience or whatever, because you're like, well, why would I get off of this job? I'm just destroying everything. But being able to kind of turn that into experience for other stuff, that's huge.
So that is how I am. The last 3 hours in this game, I have been grinding a very specific tower for one of these challenges.
Right.
Because I have my archetype set to what I want them to, and it's with all the characters. So eventually you'll get to a point where your background characters or your reserve characters are always earning experience and archetype experience, and you'll get to a point where once you get their I'm just going to keep calling them social links because that's what everyone knows.
Right.
Once you get their social links up to a certain point, all characters in reserve can start individually earning more experience. So instead of getting like half the experience for not being participating, they start earning more or full.
Right.
So I have all of my characters in reserve are also in a mastered class. So when they level up, they also create the item. So you get, slight spoilers, 8 characters altogether. All 8 of my characters are in a master class, so when they level up, I'm getting 8 of those 1,000 experience point things, and I am just running through this dungeon and clearing out these enemies, and just I have ran this dungeon, it's 9 floors, so many times that I'm not even thinking about it anymore, and I'm doing it all in the overworld battle. Thank God, because doing this, I love, and I will defend command-based JRPGs to my dying breath. But grinding this only with command-based, my God, would that take so long with this game?
Yeah, you'd be doubling your playtime.
Yeah. So grinding through doing it like that, I now have a bunch of classes for my 4 main characters that I'm sticking with right now. I'm going through and grinding out certain skills from different archetypes. That way I can take on this next dragon. And it has just been a lot easier doing it this way. Nice. And I'm almost ready. I have to grind out 1 more class for a character because I'm changing what job type they're going to have. So that way they have certain abilities that I need for healing. And then I'm going to finally take on this dragon and see if I am eligible to actually fight it or not.
Right.
I'm going to be so mad after all this time. But I've just been having a blast playing this game. It has really put in a whole new perspective with recent life events and playing this game where you're trying to build an utopia for all welcoming people.
Right. It's a very political game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that made it kind of hard to play at times, and there's other times where even I'm not even with the current climate going on, there's been other times where it's like, you guys are just, that is kind of too much.
Right.
And I don't care who you are, that's too idealistic that you guys are pulling for here. But it's not really preachy. It's just, it's fine. You're all just trying to do better and be in a better situation. And I'm just having a blast with the game. So hopefully, I only have 11 days left before I have to do something about the final boss.
Right.
And I haven't done anything yet, so hopefully I'll have this game beat by the next time we record. And I don't fall under some other weird rabbit hole of grinding in this game.
Right.
So that's where I'm at right now. 60 some odd hours playing, and I am still really, really enjoying this game.
Nice.
So, Metaphor ReFantazio.
It's so good.
It's stupid good.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got it. I hope they make another one of these.
Yeah.
Because the only thing I've really disliked about Persona games, 1 is the length. But 2, it's always in high school. And I don't mind it being in high school, but it's like, I'm an adult. I don't care about high school drama.
Yeah.
At least put it in a college like Persona 2.
That's true.
It's at least closer, but whatever. But anyway, that's all I've been playing this week.
All right, I have 2 games here this week. First up is Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. I was really looking for something different, but something that I kind of have already been playing. And I thought, oh yeah, I have all of these trophies still left to go do. Let me start knocking a lot of those out. If you remember the last time
the rhythm left you?
That's right. If you remember the last time I talked about this, the big trophy I was working on was the there's that endless world where you get like 2 or 3 songs to choose from, and they all have quests, and if you finish the level and you pass a quest, you go to the next one. If you fail the quest, they take off like 1 of your 3 hit points. You had to get up to level 20 or get up to or defeat level 20. I managed to do that last time I played. That was ridiculously hard. So to me, that was kind of like the last big difficult trophy. And the ones I have left are so every game has X number of songs in it. And each one of those songs has a quest associated with it. And sometimes it's easy of just like complete the quest, or like complete this, or like complete the song, or like complete the song with Squall in your party. And it's like, great. It doesn't care what difficulty that is. It really doesn't matter. Or like complete the song in expert difficulty or higher, something like that. Yeah. So a lot of those are really easy. The ones that I'm working on right now, because all that I have left in this game are, if I remember correctly, I counted there's 29 titles in this game. The trophies I have left are complete 10, complete 20, and then complete all of them. And I think at that point, I only have those 3, and then I'll get the platinum. So I've been working through doing all of those quests. And a lot of them are like, you played Final Fantasy 3, and there were 13 songs. You already completed 11 of them. You just have 2 more. And those are the ones I'm going through now. I have been pretty impressed with the resources that the community has out there now. When I was playing this originally, when the game first came out, a lot of it was just like, I don't know, man, we're trying our best. I'm using a party I really love. Yay! Rhythm games. And a lot of the resources now are like, if you want a party that's really good at defeating bosses quickly, because some of the missions are like, get to the boss and defeat it in 20 or 30 seconds. Like, here's a really good group for this. You need a lot of magic users, or you need a lot of summon strength. You can use these parties. So that's been really great. And one of the things I've been appreciated the most is there are some quests in the game that are very confusingly worded. One of the kind of most infamous ones are defeat the boss with ice damage. And my question was, okay, what does that mean? Like, my thought was you have to land the killing blow on the boss with ice damage. And I was like, that sounds really hard when you can't control the spells and attacks that your party members are using. They just kind of like, for anyone who hasn't played, like if you equip a fire spell to one of your characters, it'll say, oh, every time you hit 10 rainbow critical one of the notes, it'll cast this. Or if you hit 15 critical, 30 great, 40 good, anything like that. So like the better that you perform and the closer you hit the notes right on the beat, the more often they will use a spell or summon things or anything like that. So I was like, well, that sounds really confusing. And I tried it a couple of times of like, well, I'm going to bring Vivi in and give them a bunch of, fire or ice or thunder spells or whatever, and they have double cast. So that's got to hit the boss and kill it with that, right? No, was the answer. And thankfully the community found out that it's basically just, you have to defeat the boss, and at some point while you're fighting the boss, hit it with that element. So hit it with ice or fire or water. Okay. It's like, oh,
it's a lot easier.
Yeah, that's way more manageable. So a lot of it is like, okay, I have, I need to defeat this boss with wind. So I have my normal party. I'll swap out one person. I'll put Cloud in. He has an attack where as soon as the boss spawns, hits him with a wind attack, and then I just do the rest of the damage, take out the boss, and I'm done. So at this point, I think I've completed around 13 or 15 of the quests overall. So it's like, I've knocked out all the Final Fantasy 13 ones. I've knocked out Final Fantasy 12. I think I finished 14. That one has like 40 songs or something. That one was ridiculous. So I'm making a lot of progress, and the great part about this game too is I have a really solid team now. So whenever I'm looking to play something for 20, 30 minutes and go in there, either I can just hit the endless world if I just want to play some random stuff, or when you look at the giant list of like the 500 something songs, they do have a really good random option where it's like, we're going to pick 10 random songs. Here's a playlist, go play them. Or if I want to just knock out a couple of missions, I can do that too. So it's nice to have like you have like the hidden cats or the Katamari. It's like I can play this for just a little bit of time, feel like I'm making some progress, feel like I'm kind of progressing somehow in a game, but I don't have to sit down and play it for like 2 or 3 hours straight. So that's been really great. Theatrhythm is super good. Looks like they're all done with the DLC, by the way, so You know, the game just has a scant like 530 tracks in it. So if anyone was worried about, you know, more DLC coming down the line, doesn't look like that's the case. And I think the demo is still out there as well. So if anyone wanted to try it, the tutorial's really great, and the demo has, I think it's like 20 songs in it or something. So it's a pretty good sampling of the game overall. So
at some point, I got to steal this from my son.
Yeah, it's still really great. I still really love it. It's super good. Working towards that platinum, hopefully someday. The only other game I'm playing this week is Vampire Survivors. I'll get to Ode to Castlevania here in a second. I want to talk about the other non-Castlevania stuff first. I did get all of the trophies. Now I have all 221 trophies for the game. I finally knocked out the rest of the... So, there's a system we haven't talked about that they put in at some point. It's related to the Room 1665 DLC. And it's called the Darkasso cards. If you've played Vampire Survivors, you have the Arcana cards, and there's 18, 20 of them? Something like that? There's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And they give a whole bunch of, like, they're essentially cheat codes that you choose while you're playing the game. You get to choose one as soon as you start a run, and then you can pick up two other ones that are kind of, like, randomly doled out to you during a run. And a lot of them are really, really strong. And a lot of them can kind of take a build you have going on and just kind of take it to the next level, or like Vampire Survivors, kind of take it to the next exponential level. I unlocked the Darkasso cards, which is, if you look at the list of Arcana cards, it flips that board over, and it has essentially dark versions of those cards. They are ridiculously strong. They are wild. Like, one of the ones I like the most is every minute on the minute, it spawns a boss, and that boss will drop a chest. And usually on a Vampire Survivors run, it'll spawn those bosses every, like, 5 or so minutes, maybe more frequently, depending on the stage.
You get a weird wave and then a boss, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, sometimes it'll kind of encircle you in a little, like, kill zone. This one is just like, yeah, here's a boss every minute. It drops a chest. Out of that chest, you'll get either an evolution like normal, an upgrade for one of your items like normal, or if you've kind of maxed out all that stuff, it just gives you something else. Like, hey, here's something that's not in the stage, or another weapon, or another passive, or something. Here you go. That's for free. So that stuff can kind of snowball fairly quickly.
Breaking the limit on how many weapons or passives you can carry is so much fun.
We'll get there in this DLC, but a lot of times I'm rocking around with like 10 or 12 fully evolved weapons and like just 7 or 8 passives. It's like, yeah, this is so good. I'm bringing this game to its knees. It's great. But unlocking a lot of those is honestly pretty annoying, because it's like, play as Santa on this level and fully evolve his weapon, and then pick up a rosary, and that will unlock this thing. It's like, that's annoying. I don't want to play as Santa. I don't want to play as Space Dude. I don't want to play as Bat Robert. I don't really like any of these characters, but I will do it for these cards because they're incredibly strong. So knocked all that stuff out. Those were the last ones done. So I have all the trophies until they put out another patch or another non-licensed DLC, and then I'll have more trophies to go get. I did finish the Contra DLC. I finally wrapped up all of those. It's fine. And I'm not sure how much of that is colored by me not being the biggest Contra fan. Like, it has a ton of characters. It kind of has all the weapons you would want. The stage is really cool. The boss battle on the stage is really cool. The extra stage you can unlock is truly ridiculous. But as soon as I finished that DLC, I banned all of the weapons from that DLC. And, like, it's not because they're bad, but especially with Castlevania, there's just so many weapons and so many evolutions and passives and stuff, like I have to ease the pressure of there being too many things in this game, and the requirement for all of those weapons, or at least the vast majority of the weapons, is the weapon and a passive and a briefcase. That just adds another level on top of all of this stuff. It's like I have to get all of these out. Moon, we saw this with was it Neon Abyss? I think it was, with it like that giant wall of weapons and passives that you could ban.
Yep.
Vampire Survivors has a really cool system in this one where you can ban all of that stuff. They call it sealing. But what they've added, it wasn't in this patch, it was in a recent patch, is you can just seal an entire DLC at once. You're like, I don't want to see Foscari. I don't want to see, if you're wrong, you'll ban all of the Among Us weapons. Those are incredibly strong. But like for me, I went through and I can ban, I think, between like 8 and 13 or something. I haven't leveled them up super high, but for no cost, you just ban an entire DLC. And that's really great because I can just go in and say, I don't want to do any of the Contra stuff. If I'm, as I get deeper into the Castlevania DLC and I need to evolve more stuff, I'll probably ban more stuff from more DLC just to shrink that pool considerably down, especially for stuff I really don't need. So Contra's cool. I mean, it's neat. A lot of the characters are fun. A lot of the weapons are ridiculous, and that stage is really great. But it's certainly, for me, in like the tier list of DLC, it's at the bottom. But again, it's still really good because it's Vampire Survivors. But let's get to the big one here. Ode to Castlevania that came out this past week, or I guess 2 weeks ago now. Fair warning, though, it is considerably more expensive than the other DLC packs. It is an eye-wateringly $4, which is highway robbery.
God,
Ponkle.
this
How could
economy.
you? I know, for real. Just $250 was enough. But I will say, though, to ease your conscience a little bit, this DLC is bigger than the base game and all of the DLC packs combined. Easily. Yeah. It is...
That's why I have not bought it yet.
It is an entirely new game, essentially. It is ridiculously huge in a way that I really wish I could talk about, but those are massive spoilers. One of the biggest ways that it is big is that when they talked about this having one map, it sure does have one map, but it is way, way, way bigger than you can get to in a single 30-minute run. You can get through maybe one individual section of the map in one single 30-minute run. And how they've gotten around that is they've made it into a Metroidvania. So it's essentially the Symphony of the Night map that they have recreated in this DLC. But what they've done is, like, you start in the kind of castle grounds outside, and what you need to do is there's a couple of red skulls on the map. When you go there, there's like a red symbol. It's like a pentagram symbol on the ground. You step on it, and it spawns a boss. And all these bosses are kind of the Castlevania bosses you would want them to be across all of the games, even the classic non-Metroidvania ones. And when you defeat one of those bosses in the area, it drops a treasure chest like usual, but also drops a sigil. And that sigil will allow you to get to the next area, but it will also enable you to use one of the Symphony of the Night teleporters that's in that area. So at that point, sure, you might be running up against your 30-minute limit, but because you unlocked another one of those sigils or seals or whatever they call them, I'm just calling them sigils. At that point, the next run you do, you can start even further into the castle, fight another couple bosses, pick up another one of those, get another teleporter, and kind of keep working all the way to the kind of top throne room clock tower thing from Symphony of the Night. And it works so well because you're getting that Metroidvania progression, and you're kind of getting, you know, in a lot of these maps, especially for the DLC, because they don't repeat like some of the classic maps are, after like 4 or 5 runs, you've kind of seen the map. And that's fine, but being able to kind of continually make progress run over run over run and see new stuff and fight new bosses and kind of find new secrets and find new hidden passageways and stuff, that feels really, really cool. And you're doing that, and you're digging deeper into this map as you're finding new evolutions, and you're unlocking new characters, and you're unlocking yet another dude who has a whip, which is, they weren't lying, like a lot of the weapons in this DLC are whips, which is really great. I think my only minor frustration with this has been, I have seen the credits, which I'm absolutely not going to spoil. I'll talk sort of around here in a minute. I think my only frustration is because there are so many passives in the game, and there are so many weapons in this DLC. I'm just using a guide at this point of like, all right, this character starts with this weapon. What's the item to evolve with it? Like, I don't really want to go into like, people are saying like, oh, I went in a Moonglow and I took Arcana 12 or whatever it is, the one with the tree on it that pulls all the stage items to you. And then I just pick up all of them, and eventually I find what the evolution is. I was like, yeah, but I don't want to do that with all of these characters. Like, I'm okay saying, like, this whip evolves with the clover, and it turns into this. Great, perfect. I will try and find the clover, or I'll pick up one of the armoire things, and I'll just pick clover, and we'll be done with it. So, like, I think that might be my only complaint, is sort of like there's almost too much stuff in this game, but the community is so good about having a guide up very quickly of like, yeah, man, here, pick up this javelin and this thing, and it evolves into this, and you're just kind of done with it. So I do really appreciate that. It's really impressive. Look, Vampire Survivors was already a Castlevania game. That's like the worst kept secret of this entire thing is you start Vampire Survivors and you're like, oh, those are the Castlevania numbers, and this is just a Belmont, and those are actually like almost exactly the Castlevania skeletons. Like, you guys, okay, like you clearly,
the guy on the title screen is just a dude in a green cloak with a whip.
Right, like it's just that's a Belmont, dude. Like, it's Vampire Survivors since its beginning has been an homage to Castlevania games, and it's really great to see them get the chance to make their own Castlevania game, and they really have made that in this, and you can tell through all the bosses you're fighting and all of the stuff you're unlocking and all the characters you're getting, and sometimes the way that you're unlocking characters, where it's like, oh, you need to beat these bosses with this specific character, and it's like, oh, of course you do, because like those are the bosses from their game. You know, it's all of that stuff that they managed to do such a great job of not turning this into this like cash grab. How I talked about it on Pup is like, and here's a Belmont, buy the t-shirt. You know, it feels, you really do feel their love for this game, that this series of games that really did inspire Vampire Survivors. And the ultimate part of it is when you go do the thing right before the credits, and I really wish I could talk about it, but it is specifically for someone like me that loves Symphony of the Night too much and spent too much time.
Understatement of the year.
What's that?
Understatement of the year.
Yeah, we are kindred spirits, Punkle in general and I. But also, like, you loved your PS1 a little too much in a way that I really, really respect, and I am surprised that any game would do that. And I really love it. And I will be honest with you, I talked about this on Pup 2. I got teary-eyed when the credits rolled and the stuff that they kind of do when they unlock the post-game stuff for Ode to Castlevania. The way that each one of these pieces of DLC, and especially like a lot of the free DLC, the way that they kind of break the game's engine open in ways where they like really play with expectations. You saw this a lot with the end, the quote-unquote end of like vanilla Vampire Survivors, where you're fighting the director and you're in that like big starry area, and you're kind of breaking the confines of the game. The way that they do that in such a powerful way, and such a really cool like mic drop way at the end of this, is so good, and it's just the perfect capstone on this game to say, like, here is what we were here to do, and we managed to do it, and we love Castlevania 2. And I now have like so many more things to unlock in this game, and like I now have like the secrets menu has been cracked wide open, and I have a huge list of just incredibly baffling secrets to go through and try and figure out. I've unlocked a couple of them, and they are wild. But the thing that I can say about this DLC is it's perfect. Like, it is the exact celebration of Castlevania that I would want from someone who isn't Konami, because I'm sure Konami would have their own ideas of kind of how to celebrate. And we've seen that with like the collections they've been putting out. But to see a super small studio that obviously loves the good and the bad of Castlevania and loves all of it unabashedly, and like that is so great, and that's so powerful, and I really, really love it. And I don't know where they go from here, because I don't know how you kind of beat a showstopper, essentially.
Obviously you go from 2D to 3D.
That's right. Yeah, you like really risk a brain to it, and it's in 3D. But like, if this is the end of Vampire Survivors, great. Like, you couldn't have gone out on a higher note. I selfishly, I hope that they continue to support this game, because I mean, I would like to think that with them treating a huge, it's gross saying this, but like a huge IP like this with such reverence and such respect, hopefully opens more doors for them to go and put in other games that they really love into their game. Because you can look at something like Contra. That's not the biggest series in the world. Among Us is like still one of the biggest series in the world, but Inner Sloth seems like they will kind of let you put the imposters into your game as long as you're not Fortnite and you ask them very kindly. Because they'll be like, yeah, maybe you want to put that in Vampire Survivors? Sure. Like, that sounds dumb in a way we love. Sure. But like, I would love to see them continue to do this for more stuff that they love. Of like, talk to Square Enix. You want to put Final Fantasy in here? Sure. Whatever, man. Go crazy. Like, you know, Konami seemed to like working with you, and you treated Castlevania with respect. Let's do it. So it's really good. I really, really love it, and I have played too much of it because I'm not playing Metaphor, and I'm certainly not playing our Game Club game, which is Life is Strange Double Exposure, even though that I'm finally through chapter 1 of that, so I'm making my way. There's certainly not a ticking clock or anything coming up very quickly.
Not at all.
Nope.
But I mean, obviously, they would have to go with Alien Survivors. They're Metroid. Sure. 1-to-1.
let's put that in there, sure. But like, this is like you were talking about with Metaphor. This is still the like meditative 30 minutes at a time sort of thing that gets me in trouble. It's like, I can do one. I'll do one run and then I'll put the laundry in the machine. Sure, why not? And then it's like, oh no, I just did 3 runs. Ah, biscuits. I really need to do that laundry.
You have to start using real life events to force you to do
That's
real
right.
life things.
That's right. So,
it's like, oh, alarm went off. I got to go pick up the kid now. Can't
Yeah.
push that back any further.
yeah. So it's great. I really love it. It is only $4 and it is a whole new game, which is you don't get to say that about a lot of DLC for games that have been out like this for a while. So go check it out. If you haven't played Vampire Survivors, it's great. Go check it out. If you have a mobile device, it's free on mobile. It's not the best place to play it, but it'll at least give you an idea of kind of what Vampire Survivors is.
But also, it's stupid cheap anyway. So
yeah, without the DLC, it's
buy it.
still $5, I think, at most. The base game,
6 or 7. I know it went up when they moved into the new engine.
That's
but
true. Yeah, it's still less
it
than
went up
$10.
like $1 or $2. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll still get a ton of great gameplay out of it. So, anyways, I don't want to keep talking about this because I feel like I'm eventually going to accidentally spoil something, and I really don't want to. So that's all the games I've been playing this week. Let's take a break. Oh man. Let's pull up the old show notes here. All right, I think we can blow through the rest of this pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So we can all go eat dinner. Yeah. Yeah.
Make dinner. Thank you very much.
Make dinner. Yeah.
My wife is making something right now, and it smells really good. And I eventually had to mute my mic because my stomach's been grumbling this entire time.
Oh, man. All right, well, are you guys ready to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of November 11th, 2024. Farming Simulator 25 comes out PS5, Series consoles, PC, and OS X. New machines. You can grow some rice. Get some rice fields. That looks pretty cool. I have never tried these games because I feel like this would be the only game I would play if these would click with me. But it
is that type of game.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the level of excited fervor for people that love these games of just look, man, 25 is coming out. We got all this new stuff. We got these machines. It's that's really great. You have found this game that on the surface, it's like Power Wash Simulator. Power Wash Simulator sounds like the dumbest game on the planet, and you play it and you're like, it's a little dumb, but also it's actually really good.
Hey, Boston, imagine Stardew Valley, except you get to drive huge tractors around.
Yeah, that would be a problem. That's why I also
and you have to monitor expenses and logistics.
That's why I haven't played Snow Runner or Mud Runner, because I'm like, I would like those. I can't do it. Yeah. Next game here, The Rise of the Golden Idol comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, PC, OS X, iOS, and Android. This is the sequel to The Case of the Golden Idol, except this time it's in the 1970s, and it is detective related this time. So if you liked Return of the Obra Dinn, which you probably did because it's an all-time great game, this is very much like that. At least the first one. People said hey, if you like that, this is very much the same kind of game. So, which is why it's on our list of things to play on Game Club, and I haven't played the first one yet because that's a game we need to play on Game Club together, I think. So this is another game that people are frothing at the mouth over, of just yes, they're making another one. Yeah, let's go. So gotta play that someday. Rise of the Golden Idol. Check that out. Songs of Conquest is getting a surprise console release coming out for PS5 and Series consoles. It's released on PC in May. This is a hex-based turn-based strategy game that people really... I feel like this came out of nowhere when it got released on PC. A lot of people really, really, really liked this, and people seem to really click with it. So I hope this works on PC, because we kind of don't always see a lot of these games on PC, because it's always like a kind of mouse interface. You're always kind of clicking about a bajillion things to get your battles underway.
Wait, do you mean console?
Huh?
Kept saying, I hope this works on PC.
Oh, sorry. I hope this works on console. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, because didn't this come out on PC first?
It's been a long couple of days, yeah. But yeah, hopefully this works on console, because we don't get a ton of the kind of hex-based strategy games here. This looks cool. People seem to really like it. Next game here, Tetris Forever, comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. More than 15.
Is this? Oh, it says Digital Eclipse on it. So this is the one that's the going through the entire thing.
This is the what do they call them? The Gold series, I think they call them. They're like documentary game sort of mashup sort of thing. It has 15 Tetris games across basically most of its history. They also managed to find and recreate the very first original game that Patnov was making. The, what do they call it? The Electronica 60 computer version. The like original one that he was writing by hand. They've recreated that in this as well. And then they have a cool multiplayer mode that kind of switches between a bunch of different versions of Tetris as you're playing. So that seems really cool.
Well, here is my one problem with this.
Mm-hmm.
It does not have Wetrix, because it's not an official Tetris game.
Yeah, there's a couple of games like that I think, like Wordtris, Wetrix. I love Tetris Plus on the PS1. That's the one where you're clearing lines under one of those archaeologist guys as a big thing is coming down to smush him. Like, I really love that one. I understand why those aren't in, but I would really like to see just like, hey, we made one of these and there's 75 different types of Tetris in here. Like, we just got everything in here of, they just expanded Atari 50 with a bunch of DLC, so there might be an option of them doing it on this as well, as if it really sells well, but I don't know. I'll probably still buy this at some point, at least for the kind of documentary nature that Digital Eclipse does, because I think the stuff they do there is really cool. So, next up, Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake comes out, PS5, Series Console, Switch, and PC. I cannot wait to play this pretty quickly.
I got my email notification like, make sure your credit card information is correct. It's like, it is.
Best Buy emailed
Send
me.
it.
I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to have a Dragon Quest game that says PS5 on the top of it, because that tickles me. I'm really excited to play this, especially after just playing the Super Famicom version earlier this year. I'm really, really pumped to sink my teeth back into this, and also kind of like see what the differences are, because they've been talking about a lot of quality of life changes and stuff like that. So I'm really curious to see what they how they do this and how they upgrade this. So Dragon Quest 3 is great. So I'm really pumped to play through this again, and then 1 and 2 eventually next year, because those two are really great too. And last but not least, Lego Horizon Adventures comes out PS5, Switch, and PC. I totally forgot this was going to come out until it just appeared on my PS5 dashboard the other day. It's like, yeah, man, 6 days, 23 hours until it unlocks. And I was like, oh, cool. I pre-ordered that a while ago. Sure, let's get building with Lego Aloy, I guess. I'm really excited for this. I think the last Lego game I played was the Skywalker Collection, was maybe the last one, so I feel like I'm pretty ready for another Lego game. This isn't Traveler's Tales.
I was gonna say, this isn't the same company, yeah?
No, this isn't, but so far it seems like, from the trailers they've had out, we'll talk about it next week after I dive into it. but it seems like they kind of have the same sort of gameplay so far, with it sort of also being a Horizon game, which is pretty interesting. So we'll see how that mix goes, but I'm pretty pumped to play this and then build a roller coaster at the humanity's last area. So, you know, as you do in the Horizon games. Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week, and we'll check that out then. We do have one quick news story here before we go. Nintendo confirmed backwards compatibility on the Switch 2. They're still calling it the successor to the Switch. That they're saying that they just had their big first half of 2024 financial call, and they said that, quote, a broad selection of titles released for the Switch, end quote, will also be available on its successor. And so, you know, how many does that mean? What percentage? I'm going to let people figure that out once the Switch 2 comes out and we figure out, like, oh, I can't believe this game I bought that sold 20 copies didn't work, on stuff like that. But you would hope it would be 100%, but I think the realities of that is probably not. And we'll find out if there's any sort of frame rate or power improvements or whatever, but we're still a ways off from this thing even being announced. So, you know, we'll leave those questions up until we figure out more about this thing. They also impressed on how important it will be for Nintendo Online to run on the Switch 2 as well, to make use of the Nintendo account system. So if
the new achievement system that I've been predicting for the last 6 years.
Right. There's a ton of achievements in the new Mario Party game. They've got a bunch of achievements wired up in there. But like, I know people are probably like rolling their eyes, being like, "Oh my god, of course! Like you'll be able to carry your account over." No, not of course. It's Nintendo. None of this stuff is a guarantee. Half of the time they're just like, "Oh, your Nintendo account, pff, crazy. That's old times." Now it's a Nintendo Online account. That's the new thing. Also, that other one's been depreciated. Don't even worry about it. It's like, why are you doing this? So,
but also, it's going to be something weird. Like, you're going to have to put in your own friend code to log into your Switch 2, and then you have to re-input everyone else's friend codes to refriend your friends.
Probably. Yep. Yep. Torik in chat says, "What's the game club that was unplayable on the Switch?" That was the Sexy Brutale. Wonder if that'll be BC. I mean, hopefully to see if it's a little bit more, you know, workable, but we'll see.
No.
Somebody's like chopping wood or something in the backyard next to me. Keep it down out there. I'm podcasting, sir.
In an unrelated note, though, there is a Nintendo. Is it a Direct tomorrow? On the 11th?
I have no idea.
Yeah, on the 11th. Yeah, it's just like a short one. Actually, Gibbonator has it in the Discord as well.
Which one of the Directs is it?
Super Nintendo World Direct.
Oh, never mind.
So,
never mind.
It's just a short 10-minute one, it looks like. So, like I said, unrelated note.
Right. Okay. I was hoping it was going to be one of the like indie ones, because I feel like a lot of the indie ones have done a really good job at showcasing a bunch of smaller titles as well, of like, I never knew I wanted a game like that, but this looks incredible. But that's a bummer. We'll probably see some of that next year. They're probably done with like the big announcements until next year, I would bet. So, all right. That's our episode this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including a link to the Patreon page, patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
Get all the cool early access, exclusive behind-the-scenes, super cool stuff over there. $5 a month is the recommended tier. Anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Please don't forget that we do have a YouTube channel. Everything that goes on the public feed also has a video component to it as well. Like this show and Pup, we're always kind of There's gameplay of the game we're talking about. There's trailers that we're playing on the stream as well. Chat is on there as well, so you can see all that cool stuff over there. Don't forget to check out the interview with Zalavir. Watch him vibe hard with talking about B games. Share his love of B games with us. And please rate and review this show wherever you can and whatever podcatcher you can. That stuff really, really, really helps for any podcasts, especially this one. That isn't the biggest one in the world. So, we love you all. You all are fantastic to us, but there aren't, we're not like 2 million listeners. Oh, this podcast didn't do well. We only got
I have 3 jobs.
Yeah, 2.5 million listeners. Oh, no. So any podcast you listen to, especially smaller podcasts like ours, rating and reviewing really does help us get recommended for people on the algorithm. So any of that really does help, and we do greatly appreciate it. We especially greatly appreciate you listening to the show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
All right, Nimp. What are your titles?
I have. But what if they are really good? I love Capybara. 100% went hard in the casino. I'm bringing this game to its knees. And yet another dude with a whip.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Hey, I'm Honkin here. Slot Machine King, Gilded Lily, and Scrubs of the FBC.
I also wanted to do honorable mention Honkers Bonkers. Thank you.
Honkers Bonkers, baby. I said they gave the good missions to the B team, which is like way too long, but that's such a great sentence. Bars on Bars, Digital Shinies, I Love Capybara, Yet Another Dude with a Whip, and Slot Machine King. I kind of like Yet Another Dude with a Whip.
I mean, come on, Honkers Bonkers. Let's rock this.
Hold on, I have to Google it, so I'm not like saying
Something
anything
weird.
horrible. That was
I'm not gonna lie. I said, what was it? I said grease monkey to somebody a while ago, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that a bad term?
Mm-hmm.
Is that one? No, it's not. It's not affiliated with anything bad. It's just a nickname for a mechanic.
Right.
But just the fact that it had monkey in there, and it was right after I said it, I'm like,
right,
crap.
Because the problem is these terminology gets banned so quickly that they come up with new ones so quickly that it's just a constant revolving door of, am I saying something wrong?
It's right back to Clerks 2, where they had the one thing in there. I had never heard of that at all. So I was right there with him when he was like, what? And I'm like, and I'm in the theater like, yeah, what's wrong with that term?
Right.
I don't understand.
Right.
And then they explain it, and I'm like, oh.
That's so bad. Yeah.
I've not seen that film, mate.
There's a term in there.
It's a very racist term.
Yeah. That I did not know was even a term before.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I'm not finding anything that says that is offensive or terrible in any sort of way. If it is, sorry. You like can't even rely on Urban Dictionary anymore because like so many people it's different from Know Your Meme.
Community voted, right?
It's community voting, community put. So like if people want to game the system to put a wrong definition in there, they can do that. And that sort of messes up with the whole thing. So
Yep.
All right. I have circled it.
Oh man, your wife is going to be so happy.
Is she?
Absolutely.
She was so confused where I'm like, it's Honkers Bonkers here at Costco, man. She's like, what are you talking about?
All right. I'm ready. I'm going to use it in a sentence.
Oh boy. I'm regretting this more as time goes on. This is the episode we're canceled for. 890. Put it on the calendar. Put it on the Wikipedia page. We don't have one.
I'm going to write this down.
Oh, someone's got to fact check.
That's right.
No, I'm writing it down because otherwise I will mess it up because it's words that don't usually go together in a sentence for me. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Getting started in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 890 for November 11th, 2024. Honkers Bonkers.
Grounds for divorce, Exhibit A.
Work was super honkers bonkers.
That's so dumb. I love this show so much. What have I done? Oh, man. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. Greatly appreciate it. I hope everybody has the best week that you can. Hopefully we start finding some positivity out there. I can only hope. Again, if you need some help, please go talk to people. Please go get the help that you need. There's nothing wrong with it. It's only good stuff. So, hope everyone has a good week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.